And when you meet your responsibility to yourself, you're going to be in such a better place emotionally, physically, whatever, to be there for other people and to serve others. And I think the key with that is that when you're taking the responsibility that you're supposed to, you will be able to serve others because you won't see it as a burden. So the next one is Sadhguru, who is a yogi, and his message is pretty short and sweet, so this one won't take me too long. But he says that you are responsible for all the things you are and all the things you are not. And let's see. And then he goes on to say how you choose to react to life, even if that reaction is one of inaction. And that's kind of what we were just talking about. So we'll have to come back to that. How you choose to react to life, even if that reaction is one of inaction, is 100% up to you, 100% your responsibility. And Sadhguru would also say that only after you take responsibility for all the things you are and all the things you are not, will you be able to explore the depth of the possibility you hold. So there, he, like I said, is a short and sweet message, but whoa, it's pretty deep. It
is deep.
I know. Yeah. And that actually puts, I don't know if that's like an overbearing responsibility, like you're responsible for everything you are and everything you aren't.
It's like, man, that's a lot of stuff.
Which makes sense. I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
But what does that make you feel like?
It ties in really well to what we were just talking about, though, doesn't it? Like,
yeah. And see, we didn't even plan that.
No, I love it. Look at that crossover.
I know.
But yeah, there's a lot of things that I am not, like, or that I'm just not involved in, I'm not informed about. But yeah, like, I don't know, I feel pretty at ease. Like, I don't know, the tricky part is I don't know all the things that I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I think you find those things out when somebody says, hey, how do you feel about this thing? And you're like, oh, I didn't even know about that thing, or I've got no view on that thing. But yeah, I think, the things that you're aware of. So if I'm aware of, I'm not somebody who has, you know, political leanings. Like, I just don't. You know, the recent election we had here in Tasmania, I voted for my friend because he was, you know, he's in a certain party.
Okay.
But I really don't know enough about politics. Like, ask me what their policies are. I don't know. Like, I don't know at all. You know, and maybe somebody could say, well, that's irresponsible because you should know who you're voting for because you're... But at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, I'm really not that worried. And maybe it's a naive view, but say with politics, I'm like, I feel like all politicians are the same. They're all very self-serving.
Right.
You know, and it's really just, I don't know, kind of going with your gut, which is to say, I think maybe at this stage, this is the lesser of two evils. I really don't know. I've not done comprehensive studies, but that's just a gut feeling.
Right.
You know, so that's something that I'm...
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. You go.
Well, I think that is you taking responsibility for what you're not, though, because you're saying, I know this about myself and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to be a political expert because it's just not something that interests me that much. No. Like, or other people are not experts on Eckart Tolle, you know? And so that's just how, let's see, now I've christened you an expert on Eckart Tolle, so
you're
gonna have to live up to that. No?
Finally.
But but as you were saying that, I'm like, that might be actually what he means, is just that you're aware of the things you're pursuing, and then the things you're not pursuing, you're not pursuing them intentionally.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So the things you're aware of, because the things you're completely ignorant of, I mean, you can't be well, or could you? I was gonna say you can't be responsible for things you're completely ignorant of, but that's another question, I guess.
Have you got an example of where you can think of something that you specifically know you're not?
Yeah.
You're not?
I can. Let me think. I definitely know I can. Let's see. Well, I guess I would be the same as far as the politics goes. I would be in the same camp as you on that one. Another thing, well, I guess to talk about something we haven't already talked about, I guess I would say religion. So we'll pick on all the things. We're talking about racism, politics, religion. We're hitting all the big topics. So let's see how many people we can get to shut this off.
Diddling's not an option, guys. No.
I know. True. So, okay, so for religion, for example, I really don't know that much about. So I was raised Christian, and I live in a very Christian area. So that's the main religion that I know anything about. And I haven't really taken the time to understand Christianity that well. And I haven't taken the time to understand any other religion that well. But I'm okay with it because I feel good about myself. And I feel like I'm living the best life I can. And I know that I'm a good person. Or at least I'm pretty sure I am. And I'm pretty sure that if there's a heaven and hell, I'm not going to hell. You know, I just live every day. I do unto others as I'd have done unto me and all that kind of good stuff. So I guess that's one area of my life where I'm okay with not being an expert in religion and still feeling like my soul is going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good example. Like, there's so many things that I think there couldn't be a better example than the times that we're living in, of where there are things that people are going to not be, you know, and
true.
That they do need to take responsibility for it.
Right.
Like, you know, for example, you know, like in that same interview with Jordan Peterson, the journalist asked him about the transgender community and pronouns, and, you know, how he felt about pronouns.
Yeah, he does not like them.
No. And so, like, for me, right, like,
Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll put a caveat. Sorry, I got to caveat that later, but go ahead.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
But for me, so, like, I will quite honestly say I'm still humble enough to say I'm very, very uninformed about that particular issue. However, I feel it's important enough for me to update my LinkedIn to put he, him, and recognize, and just because it's a simple gesture for me to say, like, I recognize that, you know, it's important for people to have, for pronouns to be appropriate, you know, and to make it really clear. So hearing Peterson say, you know, and he had some good points, which I hadn't thought of. Again, we need to be open to each other's views, which was, you know, like, it's the appropriation of language, and that's very dangerous, and what harm could that do? And that's a very good point, because, like, how far could that be pushed if it became legalized that you could only use certain pronouns, etc.? That is dangerous. But it's still not going to shift my view that I think it's important to, you know, to basically recognize that, you know, my transgender brothers and sisters, it's important for them to be recognized in that space and have a voice. So, but, you know, there's so many examples everywhere. Like, in every topic you think of, everything you are not, you've just got to be at ease. A last example, and sorry to rant, is like, I think about, for example, in Australia, everyone is obsessed, not everyone, terrible thing to say. A lot of people here are really obsessed with Australian football, all right? AFL.
With soccer, right?
Yeah, and so it's like a form of, I don't know, rugby-ish thing. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was football. Like, we call football soccer, but it's different than that. It's like rugby.
It's kind of like rugby. I reckon I reckon I'm probably butchering it. Like, if there was a diehard fan here, they'd be like, oh man, that's not what it is. But anyways, but when I first came here, everyone was very, like, all about the football. And I don't mind watching the football. I'm fine to watch it. I don't love it. I'm not interested in it. I'm not gonna look into it any further, you know. And I was conflicted a while ago, you know, feeling like, do I need to get in with the masses here and learn about this topic and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, and so that's a case where I wasn't taking responsibility for what I wasn't, you know. I was basically like, I don't like this topic. Yeah, I was like, I don't like this topic, but I feel like maybe I need to force myself into liking it. Whereas today, I will quite happily say to all my friends that love it, including my girlfriend's dad, you know, I don't like this football. It's boring. I'm going to go next door and talk to other people because I'm bored. You know, I'll say that because I'm totally fine with it. And if you go, oh, you don't like football? Like, what the heck? Well, I'm taking responsibility. I'm willing to cop a bit of whatever for that.
I like that though, because I never thought of it that way, is that you're taking responsibility by taking responsibility for what you're not. So you're not a football fan. You are not just going along with the crowd. You're being true to yourself.
Yeah.
And what is important to you, instead of just like folding to peer pressure or trying to fit in or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't think of it that way. So that's actually a really cool way to think of it too.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yes, I do have to say about Jordan Peterson though, because he's my main man. But so I shouldn't have said he doesn't like the terms. I've watched enough of him talk about it that the pronouns are not the problem. It was the problem that it was being made law in Canada. And that's what he did not think it was. He's like, if you tell me, do you want to be called something? I will call you whatever you want me to call you if you ask me to. But he didn't think it should be legislated. So I just wanted to say, I shouldn't have said he doesn't like them, because that just sounds bad. Or that just sounds like he, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to misrepresent what he said, but.
Yeah. But that's true though. Like, I don't think it should be, I don't know. I think the whole legalizing things that are like this are dangerous. Because there are unintended consequences. People really need to weigh that up, you know?
That's right.
Like, there are so many issues that are very, grey. And I think when it's grey and not everyone agrees on it, don't legalize it. Do not legalize it until you feel like the majority of folks are on board and comfortable with the change, and that you've analyzed all the things that could go wrong if the change comes in.
Well, which you can never do. So just don't legalize it.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave it open. Come on, Canada.